Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, now that spring has sprung, perhaps you need to spring your credit score. What am I talking about? Well, for the first time in a decade, credit scores apparently have dropped worldwide, or at least right here in America. Joining us now to talk all things finance happens to be a finance coach. You know her, I know her. I'm referring to none other than Jeannie. Always good to see you, Jeannie. Welcome back to the show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
I got to tell you, I was truly surprised when I saw the headline. For the first time in a decade, credit scores dropping. When did that happen?
Well, it's part of the pandemic. Obviously, we all know we had a global pandemic, but one of the things I always try to remind everybody, we might have been in the same ocean, but we were not in the same boat, and that definitely applies to our finances.
Yeah. One of the things that I thought happened to be really interesting that you said is that it all surrounds mental health. And in this case, not only mental health, but spending habits. And I'm referring to one's finances and how he or she maintains them.
Exactly. So many times when people are not feeling good about themselves, they might spend more, and that can be really a challenge at the end of the month, keeping on top of your bills, trying to get ahead. And then there's other times when people are really down, they don't actually pay their bills on time. And that becomes another issue when you're trying to raise that credit score.
Yeah. And so talk about that, maintaining the credit score alone. I mean, I could tell you there's certain things that I do. I have several credit cards, and I make sure that I actually utilize those credit cards. And then at the end of the month, I pay it off. And typically, my credit score seems to shoot up every time I do so.
Yes, if you can actually, whatever you put on your credit card each month and then pay that off, it does wonders for you. It's when we have this rolling debt is when our credit score starts to go down. And it's even harder when you're trying to, start off and create credit for yourself. That's why secure cards sometimes are the best way to go.
Yeah. And so talk about this whole purchase car thing, because I'm thinking about doing so sometime in the near future, and that is actually purchasing a car. But I know that they then they being potential lenders, pull your credit in order to make sure that you're worthy to actually get a loan. Is that something that I should look at right now, especially where credit scores are dropping for the first time in a decade?
Absolutely. Even if you want to pay cash, a car loan place or a dealership will still check your credit. They need to make sure, first of all, who you are is, what you say you are, because they don't want to get themselves stuck in a nasty situation of saying, I'm going to buy this car, and then you don't. And then, of course, if they had run your credit, they would see that it's not good.
Yeah.
So, you've got to make sure it looks good.
No, I fully understand. And so with that being said, you are a woman of the people, and I'm pretty sure you being a finance coach, a lot of folks walk up to you and say, oh my gosh, this is what I'm dealing with. You're probably like the psychologist to a lot of folks from a financial perspective. With that being said, what are people saying to you when they're having conversations with you? What's their main concern?
So their main concern is, how can I handle my bills, take care of my immediate survival? So we're talking like rent, mortgage, gas, groceries, but then also, do I get any spending for myself? And sometimes, when we think about, I want to take more self-care, I want to do the things I want to do, and that sounds really good, but if you keep, I need another self-care budget, or I need to put extra money on this, or I'll deal with this later, that can catch up with you sooner versus later.
Yeah. And so last but not least, before I let you go, I guess there's no, I guess you can't answer it all. And what I'm trying to say is, folks that are really having a hard time from a financial perspective right now, folks that are really concerned about their credit score, is there one thing in a nutshell that we can all do to immediately make an impact? Because if so, I got to tell you, you're about to hit a home run on this show.
Well, I would say first things first is check your credit and see if everything's correct. When it's not correct is when you want to go and try to fix it. So if you have anything that's outstanding, pay that off immediately or negotiate it as quickly as possible. And then lastly, if you paid off anything that's in collections, you can ask for a goodwill deletion, and that will also improve your credit score and your self-esteem.
I love it. That's why I always have you on this show. Jeannie, of course, she provides the great information from a financial perspective, and that's why she is a financial coach. Always good to see you, Jeannie. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a local teacher recognized on a national level. Perhaps you saw it for the first time right here on this show. You're going to see it again. We'll be right back.